Hi there, this is Art and Such, and this is my rainbow loom tutorial for Cousin It from the Addams family. I want to do the whole series, and thing is up, this is the second one. So I'll give you some options and suggestions as we go along, but this is basically what we're looking at. This hat is from Made by Mummy's Pilgrim hat design, and I've just changed the colors basically so that it's all black. For the eyes, I'm using pony beads, but you can use buttons or flat beads or sequins or even stick-on googly eyes. You will need a C-clip. And for the body, you can use, or the hair rather, you can use a caramel brown, a different shade of brown, a blonde, a gold, a pale orange, or if you want to be creative, you can use gray, as the original Addams family was all in gray. Now here's the one little catch here. I was able to find a few black bands. I'm still waiting on an order, and I used black on my prototype so you can see what this looks like, but now I'm all out again, so I'm going to use navy blue just for demonstration purposes for the eyes and the hat. You'll probably want to stick with black though. So let's turn to our loom. We're putting it in the offset position with the middle row just raised above the other two. And we're going to be taking our hair color and using double bands throughout, so 2 bands each time. We're coming down either side from the top center to the top on the sides once, and then we're going to go down almost to the end of the loom. We can stop at the second peg from the bottom for each of our rows. Once more, that's double bands, and we're just going to go straight down. It doesn't matter which row you start with, and if you are more comfortable, you can kind of go back and forth and put on the rows horizontally until they've reached this point together. If you want it to be a little bit shorter, you can do 1 set less. If you want it longer, you can go right to the end. You're going to come down the other side with double bands. And then we'll need 1 more row for the center. And the center row is going to stop just here, again the second from the bottom, but it'll be 1 higher up from where the side's finished. For this project, I wanted to mention we will be doing the whole body on the loom pretty much, but for our sunglasses and to attach the hat, you will need to do it by hand by hook. We will make the hat on the loom as well. Okay, once this is all on, we're going to put holding bands. I'm using single bands and stretching them out in a triangular formation. If you want your body to be a little tighter, you have the option of stretching your bands out and doubling them before bringing them across. Okay, I'm going to start right at the top here. So from your second peg to your second peg, raise it above the second peg in the middle, and we'll repeat this all the way down. I had initially tried leaving the bottom set kind of loose, but it didn't work out so well, so we're gonna secure it all. On the bottommost set, I would recommend using 2 bands just to make it a little bit sturdier and a little tighter, and you can pull this bottom piece above that second peg. Okay, we're gonna make a side chain. And my side chain ended here. From there I added a thinner chain for the top. I'll show you what I mean in just a second here. So we're going to start by taking a single and wrapping it twice onto the hook. And then we're going to pull it onto 2 more bands. And we're going to pull it onto 2 more bands. And we're going to do this until we have a chain with 10 bands, that it's been pulled onto 10 sets. So this will be 3, 4, all doubles, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. At this point, if you decide that you would like for the full head and body to be thicker, you can add another 3 sets. I believe it's 3 sets of 2 onto the end here. If not, we can add this chain from the 3rd peg down to the last peg that we used and make a single chain for the last set. So that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to look for the bottom bands. This was the first band that we wrapped, and this is going to go over the bottommost peg of the pegs that we use, so it's the second from the bottom. We're going to stretch this up and take the bands off of the hook, place them on the 3rd peg down. And then we need to grab a band out of each of these sets of the chain, each part of the chain here, and pull it over the corresponding side pegs. Try and get one from closer to the bottom if you can. And this just keeps it from springing out on the side. We are going to repeat this on the other side, but I'm going to do the single chain first to show you what I meant for the top here. So we're going to do another one, single wrap twice, take a single band, pull it on, another single band, take your bands off the hook and on top, and one more. And we can take the bottom bands here, put them on that 3rd peg down, and stretch the rest over onto the top of the head. And this will make the top section a little thinner, so it will appear to be, the hair will be appearing to stretch out a little. And I'm gonna take bands out of this new chain, and we're gonna pull those over, the top side peg and the peg just below that, so that this isn't flopping around either. And let's do the chain for the other side. Single band wrapped twice. Hold on to 10 sets of double bands. I'll try and do this a little faster for you this time. You can always pause or fast forward as you need. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Once more, if you want the top of your head to be a little thicker, you can add another 3 sets to the chain and connect those all the way to the top. Otherwise, if you're still with me, we're gonna repeat everything from the first side. So take the bottom and put it on that 2nd peg from the bottom, and the other bands are gonna stretch to the 3rd peg down. And I think I've lost one there. Don't want that to come loose. Okay, we need to grab a band out of each set and pull it over. You can really take your time with this. Try and make sure you get the right ones in the right place so that everything is nice and tidy when you're done. We're almost ready to start looping. It's kind of exciting after such a long setup. Okay, get each of these sets over, and then we're going to do a single chain for the top section again, so that we have a little bit more even of a transition. Single wrap twice, pulled onto 3 single bands. Or again, you can even make these double, but that will to make it thicker. We're going to take the bottom one, put it on the 3rd peg down, stretch it up and around and onto the topmost center peg, and grab a band out of the chain that goes on the 2nd peg here on the side, and one to come over the top peg. Okay, this is everything for our body. We can loop it up and then we will work on our hat and our glasses. So I'm going to start in the center. I'm taking my hook and grabbing the bottom 2 bands, the only 2 bands there. They're going to come up and over that 3rd peg from the bottom. We're going to get the bands from under there and loop them around the 4th peg from the bottom. And we keep going up straight to the top. And just that way, there shouldn't be anything in your way here. We're gonna ignore these triangle bands for the moment and just loop straight up as if this was a single chain happening here. Be sure that you're getting both bands each time so you don't have anything loose jumping out at you later. And when you get to the top, push your bands down a little bit and we will return to the bottom here. You can pick either side, and we're going to find the 2 bands which are on the bottom and coming from the peg above. We need to get into underneath in our peg, grab those bottom 2, loop them up and over. Get the bottom 2 coming through the peg, through the bands which are there already, and continue to find your bottom 2 bands and loop them. We're going straight up to the top this way. Push everything else back as you go. We will be doing the exact same thing on the other side. So if you're already there, you can go ahead and get that part going. And if you're not there yet, that's completely cool. Once you reach the top, we have to get the bottom 2 bands again and bring them to the middle. So dig inside, get those bottom 2 up and over to the center. Then we can go back to the bottom once more, find the bands which are coming from on top, and we're going to loop up the other side the very same way. Sometimes it will help if you want to use your hand or your hook and pull the bands to the side to see them better as you go. Okay, so I'm pushing back the extra bands, all of those capping bands or holding bands, and all of the chain extension bands. We're only taking the bottom 2. You might wish to turn your loom to the side to see better as you do this as well. Almost there. Okay. And from the top, once more, getting the bottom 2, bringing them to the center. And you can take 1 or 2 bands and pull them through the bands on the top peg. So I usually try and put the open part of my hook away from me, dig underneath, turn it around, and turn it back so that my band is on and the hook is facing away again. It comes up through other end over, and we're going to take one end and pull it over the other to create a slip knot. You can loosen tension and some tension, and we're going to take this off of the loom. sometimes it's easier said than done. Okay. If you have any loose bands, you can straighten them, tug them, pull them in the back, stick them on a C-clip, weave them in, whatever you need to do. Push your body together a little bit, and we're gonna hide your securing band in the back. I'll just pull it under some bands here. And this can go on a C-clip. You might want more than one C-clip as we go along, but you can put all the pieces on here if it's more comfortable, really. We're going to put our body to the side for the moment and make our hat. For the hat, as I say, you're probably going to want to use black. I'm using blue here. And we're going to take 2 bands and come down from the top center peg to the top right peg. Another 2 bands from the top center peg to the top left peg. 1 set of double bands down each of our 3 rows. Then we'll come in from the second center to the second right, and from the second center to the second left. And we'll come down each row one more time with 2 bands each. And close it up one more time the same way. 2 bands from the center third to the right third. 2 bands from the center third to the left third. And the last thing we want to do is add the little side piece. You can make this longer if you want. We're just going to do a small little lump there. So take 2 bands, wrap them 2 or 3 times onto your hook, and pull it onto 2 bands. If you want this part to be longer, the brim here, you can add another set of 2. And we're going to take the bands off the hook and put it onto the 3rd peg down on the side, and then we'll be repeating this for the other side. Like so. 2 bands wrapped 3 times. You can just do it 2 if you want. It'll be a tiny bit looser, but should look okay as well. We're pulling this onto 2 more bands. Other end on the hook, and this goes on your 3rd peg down on the right side. Now we're going to be looming in from the sides to the center. So get under your brim, and you're going to look for these 2 pieces coming diagonally from the center and pull them back. You can do them one at a time if it's easier, or both together. It can be a little tricky to see when you have everything in the same color like this, but this is a small piece we're doing, so it should be okay. I also have kind of poor lighting here just at present. We have another rainy day where I'm at. Okay. There we are. And we're going to loom in from the other side to get this diagonal piece from under the cap's edge, your hat's edge, and pull it up and over into the center. And you want to hold these bands down so it doesn't come right off your peg. We're coming in one more time on either side and finding the bands coming from above, and those will be pulled up and through, under and through. And again, under, pull it up, over. We're going to get our center bands and pull those up, the 2 bands which are coming from the 2nd peg to the 3rd peg. We want to pull that through. I'm going to give it a little tug to see it more clearly. And then we need to bring in these diagonal bands from either side. And come underneath on this side, pull them over. And we're going to loom up on each of our 3 rows here. The order doesn't matter very much at this point. Okay, I need to pull this down once more. And our last thing to do is to loop up the diagonals on the top pegs. So come underneath, pull those bands to the center, and the other side pull them to the center. Take a single black band and pull it through your hat pieces. We're going to finish it just like we did the body by taking one end over the other to create a slip knot. We can take this off of our loom. Okay, hide your band in the back, tuck it under some bands. You can add another C-clip at this point or just leave it loose. I always trust these things a little better with a C-clip on them. So I will add one now. To attach the hat, you're going to need a couple more black bands on hand. Find the place where you want it to sit. And you will take your hook through the back, through the brown, through a couple of brown bands, and through the blue. Put a blue, I keep saying blue, you're probably using black. Put it through your hat, put it through your head, put on a band matching the hat, and you're going to pull it back through all the way. Come through the back again, more to the center. Put the other end of your blue on. You might want to leave a little tension, and we're going to pull this through again. This can take a little bit of trying. And we're going to go through one more time closer to the side. So I'm coming through from the back. I'm going through my hat. I'm going to take another blue band and pull it back through. And finally, you want to grab it through one last place, just secure it a little bit better and pull it through. And this can go on your hook, on your C-clip, on your clip, which is already there. Just gonna throw that on. And there's your hat. And for sunglasses, as I said, you might wish to try buttons. Unfortunately, the bands end up looking kind of lumpy, but buttons are a possibility. Sequins, anything flat and round, or you can stick with pony beads. And for that, we're going to take our pony beads, get them onto a band. And I'm going to pull this around, but it's going to be very tight if I pull it around the way it is right now. So I want to put an extra blue band through either side. Taking the blue band, I'm pulling it through, I'm putting the other end on, and I'm going to do this on the other side. I'm going to use my fingers this time. Just pull that blue band through, and now it's really long and we can stretch this around. Just get a better grip here. It's always the last little details that get to be the trickiest. Okay. So this is going to come around. We're going to grab both ends on the back. And to keep it from getting too tight again, I would suggest adding another band, just a single band, through. And putting both ends over. And this can go onto your C-clip. Now if you want, you can actually pull your eyes right through the body. This seems to work pretty decently though. And from here, just adjust your eyes to where you want them. You can have them close together, wide apart. You could have it right under the hat or a little bit lower, whichever you like for his sunglasses there. And there is your Cousin It. I hope to get the rest of the Addams family going soon, just as soon as I've got the bands for it. And I thank you for watching. Check out some of my other stuff.